I called you up, but okay, okay. Go. Hi everybody, JJ here with Experiences with My Dog. We've got Bowie, and you see this right here? This is an awesome sweet potato and chicken treat from A Heart for the Paws. And Bowie definitely loves these, right Bowie? Huh? Yeah? Okay, there you go. All right, so we're gonna find out more about these guys. Okay, so what makes these sweet potato and chicken treats, I think, so special and really, I think, worth your money? Well, I think first and foremost is compared to, of course, the recently reviewed Amazon Solimo sweet potato and chicken treats that we talked about, these are 100% sourced and produced here in the United States, and there's definitively a small batch production. So what do we mean by small batch production? They're essentially made in pretty much as you order them production. So when you head over to actually Amazon's website to actually order these, you'll find that they don't ship out immediately. What's going to actually happen is that you're going to submit your order, and then depending, of course, on the different size that you do order, they carry these all the way up to 2 pounds. They'll essentially receive your order and then send you over a confirmation that they're actually beginning the process of producing them, and then they will send you another notification once they've completed the actual processing and production and actually have them shipped out to you. All the way around, I had these, I think, in less than a week. So the turnaround time, I think, is very similar to that of what you would have from, let's say, buying already a quote-unquote produced treat. But I think the fact that you're getting something that it's at its peak of freshness, one, not only gives you a better quality product, but also gives you something that has higher nutritional density because, of course, it's at the peak of its freshness. So I think that you get the best of both worlds in terms of getting something that's really maximizing your investment in terms of how much money you're paying for it and really maximizing the quality. Also, I think aspects of even kind of the palatability and the interest for dogs, because this is really going to be super fresh sweet potato and also very fresh chicken. So let's talk about some of the other ways that I think this differentiates itself from some of the more other treats that are out there on the market. Okay, so let's first talk, I think, about some of the specifics of this actually treat. So it is a chicken and sweet potato variant only. That means you don't have any other type of proteins that they currently offer, which I think that's entirely fine. Chicken, if you're doing it as a supplemental protein as part of your dog's diet, whether it's just part of treats or it's occasionally as part of their primary protein, I think it's a solid choice, especially if you're using very good quality source chicken to be able to minimize on the omega-6 and the omega-3 imbalance. And that's definitely the case here. Now, you just kind of want to be something conscientious in mind that when you are kind of feeding treats to your dogs, generally chicken is not usually my preferred protein, but I think that a good quality chicken source definitely helps to add diversity to the different types of items that you're feeding to your dog. Now, in terms of different types of sizes that are available to you, you've actually got quite a number of versions. You have 4 ounces, 8 ounces, 13 ounces, 1.5 pounds, and 2 pounds. So you can kind of really tailor this, and I think that's really beneficial, especially from the fact that you're getting these freshly produced. So I think if, 2 pounds is, I think, quite a bit. And so definitely if you don't think you're going to be able to feed those to your dog or your dogs in a quick enough period of time, then of course you would want to get a smaller quantity. Now, of course, when you talk about the relative cost, it is definitely going to be a little bit more expensive. And we'll talk a bit more about that when we get to the value side of the fence. But I definitely think that it's worthwhile at any one of the brackets if you're talking about really getting something that's fresh, well made, and I think actually is a good value when you talk actually about a sweet potato, quality sweet potato, and quality cage-free based chicken that you're getting. We did go ahead and reach out to them and ask them quite a number of questions just to be able to kind of get some clarity on their actual aspects of production and kind of sourcing and different things along those lines. So they've been producing these treats for 6 years under, I think, a Black Mountain Supply is the kind of the formalized name. But when you go over to Amazon, you'll see the kind of contact coming from that name, but the branded name for the treat is A Heart for the Paws. In terms of their sweet potatoes, they buy those locally from their supermarket, and then they pretty much clean them. They marinate the chicken. It's pretty much the only thing they do, which they marinate these guys in a bone broth for an extended period of time. So that adds a little bit more to that flavor palatability to really kind of get your dog interested. And then from there are, of course, no additional artificial flavors or colors or any type of processing elements that they put in there. So you're really just getting high quality sweet potato and high quality chicken. And then these are hand cut and then wrapped. And so you can really see that the quality of what you're getting in terms of the sweet potato, it generally looks like a sweet potato, and then it generally looks just like fresh cut chicken. And the other thing you're gonna find is that the consistency quality across all of these is far better than what I've seen in many other treats. And I think this is really due to the small batch production that you have here, that you see chicken consistently present across all the sweet potato. And the sizes are actually also quite solid. There are definitely some that are a little bit smaller in here, maybe getting down to around 2.5 to about 3.5 inches, but you'll definitely find quite a large amount of them are going to probably be between, I'd say, 3.5 to 4 to even 5, almost 6 inches. So you definitely get some nice big consistent cuts of sweet potato along with some nice big consistent cuts of chicken. Now, last couple of items in terms of the transparency with the company were pretty straightforward. We also asked them to help to confirm that the actual treats themselves don't go through any irradiation. Now, irradiation, again, I don't have any real qualms with it. I think it's entirely fine if products are, but especially with a fresh-based product like this, irradiating it, there is some studies that show that you do essentially reduce the amount of nutritional density. So especially for something like this where it's super freshly produced, I'd love to try to get the maximum nutrient density and benefits that the sweet potato and the chicken is providing. So the fact that they don't use any of those type of preservatives, they don't use any type of irradiation is, I think, a big plus point. Now, because of the fact that there is also no type of preservatives in here, you do want to be conscientious of the fact that pretty much after you open these guys up, if you're not essentially getting them consumed, I think, within the first couple of days, and even then, they do make actually a statement on the bag that pretty much after opening it, you want to refrigerate them. So we've had them in the refrigerator for a couple of days. They've been entirely fine, no issues in that regard. So I think for probably most people, in terms of the normal lifespan that you would probably want these to hold up with, I'd probably say like 7 to 12 days or something like that. I think you're going to be entirely fine. But you do want to keep in mind that unlike many other treats that you could keep in treat bags or you could kind of put out into little containers and you could have more exposure to air, here you're definitely going to want to try to make sure that they're refrigerated and you're minimizing oxidation and also even light affecting the overall lifespan for this treat. Now, last but not least, when we're just talking about, again, the transparency and the ingredients, it's not organic sweet potato and it's not organic-based chicken. And again, there's a lot of variation in terms of what organic necessarily gains you. And the fact that we don't have organic sweet potatoes, I think, is okay because sweet potato tends to be one of those items where you generally don't necessarily get a benefit from it being an organic-based item. So all the way around, no issues with the overall ingredients. And then also, in terms of just the overall transparency, they were fantastic. They got back to us, I think, within less than 24 hours in terms of the email that we sent to them on Amazon to be able to go ahead and clarify all the different aspects surrounding their production, the sourcing, and all the different elements that we've talked to you about. So they definitely get kudos there. So now we get to probably one of the best parts right here, always within the videos, is going to be the taste testing aspect. And, I think this was pretty much just going to be a lock from the very beginning. All the pups have actually thoroughly enjoyed sweet potato since we've got them. Bowie and Ultron have had them since they were puppies, since we rescued them. And MODOK, although technically he has actually a light sensitivity to a sweet potato, I definitely think fresher based items like always tend to actually be less reactionary a lot of times in terms of sensitivities, and there's still nutritional benefits. But all the way around, all the pups loved all of these. I think they loved the aspect that you got that nice little chewiness from there, the size of them, the nice little texture and contrast and crunch, along with a little bit of the chewiness that you also got from the chicken. And so all the way around, definitely no complaints in any regards. These are, I think, a little bit larger than what you would have compared to, I think, many of the Solimo treats that we compared them to in terms of Amazon's sweet potato and chicken treat. And if you talk about the overall time, I think depending on the size of your dog, it's going to be varied a little bit. So I think that, when you talk about something like this one, which is going to be a pretty large size treat, it's not going to get, they're not going to consume this in, a second or two. It's actually going to probably take them maybe somewhere between like 15 seconds to maybe even up to like a minute, maybe even a little bit more than a minute for, I think, a normal sized dog. So probably a dog in the range of like 30 to about 60 pounds. If you have a larger breed dog, in that 60 to 100 pounds, I still think this is not going to go right away. It's probably going to take them probably about 15 to about 30 seconds. And definitely if you've got a small breed dog, I'd still be fine giving this to, a small breed dog, under 10 pounds. But it's definitely going to take them a little while to actually chew through the entirety of this sweet potato along with this chicken. But that's great because that'll last you a little bit longer. But then that probably will cut into when we talk a little bit more about the value, where you probably want to balance out getting the right size for your dog to be able to maximize making sure that you're not throwing any of these treats away. But overall, I think definitely the pups give all their paws up when it comes to the taste test for these sweet potato and chicken treats. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get down to how this affects your wallet, right? The proverbial value. Now, this is always going to be a little bit more complicated because it really comes down to none of the things that I'm going to be talking about here are going to be the cheapest based items that you can get. If you're talking about trying to spend, $5 or $10, then for sure you could go to Amazon, you could go into Petco, you could get way more, especially if you're interested in getting stuff that's way more plant-based, where you're talking about like biscuits or cookies. Sure, you can get like a 2-pound box for like $10 or something like that. But is that necessarily, what you want to be feeding your dog? And that's ultimately a choice that you decide to make. Here, we generally prefer to try to focus on stuff that does at least provide nutritional value and is a high quality and from good quality companies that at least can provide some supplementation to your dog's overall diet. So when we break down the overall cost consideration, this 13 ounces right here is going to be $24. That's fairly expensive, I think, when you compare that to, let's say, Amazon's, right? The Solimo, which was 2 pounds, right? And that was, I think around $16 or something in that range, right? But you have to consider that here, I felt that the amount of chicken that you got is significantly more. In their 13-ounce bag, you were getting way more than probably Amazon was giving you in a 2-pound bag. The quality of sweet potatoes, the small batch production, the better nutritional density because, of course, it was fresh. Again, overall, I think that when you talk about genuinely getting what you're getting here, which is just that bone broth, just the sweet potato, and just the chicken, I think it holds up, and I think that the pups will absolutely enjoy it. And, for the amount of money you're paying, it's not a huge amount. But definitely you would want to be conscious of maximizing the size that you get in relation to how much you're going to be giving your dog and making sure that you're not throwing anything away. So wrapping things up, we've talked about these awesome sweet potato and chicken treats from A Heart for the Paws from Black Mountain Supply based out of Idaho. I really love these treats. I think that they're a great option. It's not something that I'd say I would consistently be ordering all the time, but definitely, I think in the year, I definitely would order them a couple of times to be able to, I think, get the quality, the freshness of what you have here. And keep in mind, we do have a dehydrator, and we have actually dehydrated different types of items, but it definitely takes time. You're talking actually multiple days generally to be able to dehydrate a lot of sweet potato and chicken and then be able to wrap it and kind of get it all together. And that's not even also counting, I think, for the marinade time frame that you would want to have for the chicken as well. But that being noted, I think if you're looking for some great treats to be able to give to your pups, these are a solid recommendation, from a great company based here in the United States, and that has really great quality. So all the way around, hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick review on the Heart for the Paws sweet potato and chicken treat. If you guys have any questions, comments, or feedback, love to see them in the comment section. So make sure you go ahead and drop those there. While you're down there, if you guys can also go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the like button, that would be fantastic. And also share this video out. Let your other friends that have dogs know about these awesome reviews that we have here on the Experiences with My Dog YouTube channel. And if you want to pick these guys up, we'll make sure to have a link in the description to Amazon so you can go ahead and pick them up there. So as always, thank you for checking this video out. Take care, take it easy, enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to spay and neuter your dog.